So, recently LEGO has descended from the heavens and blessed all of us Ninjago fans with new content, in the form of the Dragons Rising Elemental Mech miniseries. This series of shorts is Dragons Rising's first foray into making mini-movies and shorts like the original Ninjago show did. And seeing that Ninjago shorts in the past few years have been in the best state they've basically ever been in, and the fact that Dragons Rising's first season was the best piece of Ninjago content we've gotten in years, I was kind of surprised by how little this miniseries did it for me. Now that's not to say I hated this series of shorts or anything. I'm not about to sit here and argue that this is the worst piece of Ninjago media ever released. And there are some really good things about these shorts that I would like to bring up, but I don't know, these shorts kind of just left me wanting more. An overarching issue that I have with this series of shorts is that we have basically no idea where these fit into the Ninjago timeline. Like Virtues of Spinjitzu, for example, it was pretty easy to figure out where this is meant to be taking place in the timeline. This series of shorts acknowledges the events of 11-minute era Ninjago up to the events of the island, and Nia is still here in her human form, which pretty firmly places the events of these shorts in the short time gap in between the events of the island and Seabound. These shorts aren't nearly as clear with this, which I think is a pretty big problem because unlike the Virtues of Spinjitzu, which was a kind of could-be-canon series which fit nicely into the timeline, this Elemental Mech miniseries is supposed to be 100% concrete canon in the same way that Dragons Rising Season 1 was. So these shorts' timeline placement being so confusing and out there, I think is pretty problematic. They could have just done a series of shorts that takes place in the gap between Season 1 and the upcoming Dragons Rising Season 2, but Cole is present in these shorts, meaning that they have to take place sometime during Season 2, or even after the events of Season 2. Unless Cole just got his whole spiritual journey done off screen, which would be incredibly lame. As for my best guess as to where these shorts take place, I'd say these take place in between Season 2 Episode 10 and Season 2 Episode 11. Because in the past few years, Ninjago has always done these kind of Part 1 and Part 2 splits midway through their seasons. So I think wherever the divide between Season 2 Part 1 and Part 2 is where these shorts are going to take place. Now, obviously Dragons Rising Season 2 isn't out yet. We don't have anything from it, a trailer, pictures, nothing. So as we end up seeing more of the second season of Dragons Rising, the timeline placement of these shorts could become more clear and understandable, or even more confusing. This is a problem that could either be remedied or get even worse as more Dragons Rising content comes out, so we're kind of gonna have to wait and see. Although it does raise the question of why release content in between Season 2 episodes before Season 2 even has a trailer. My next issue with these shorts is that they feel kind of disorganized. I'm not expecting the same level of serialized plot that we get from the Ninjago TV show, obviously that's unreasonable for web shorts. But these are the first ever Ninjago shorts in franchise history that have episode numbers attached to them. On top of that, the first episode of this miniseries, titled What the Mech, spends a lot of its time trying to naturally introduce the concept of the elemental chronosteel mechs into the plotline, which, especially combined with the fact that the initial trailer billed this as a miniseries, makes the subsequent episodes being completely disconnected super jarring. And it's especially weird when you get to episode 3 and realize, oh, that's the end. Like, when I finished episode 3, I was thinking, okay, that was pretty cool. I'm excited to see the next one, and then probably the finale to these shorts. And then I realized that episode 3 was the finale. It just randomly ended. Obviously, Ninjago shorts don't have to be serialized. For years, we've had Ninjago shorts that have just been random self-contained stories, and they've been great and enjoyable and whatnot. But this series feels like a really weird half step between trying to be a serialized Ninjago miniseries and trying to be dumb fun self-contained shorts, leading to a collection of shorts that just really doesn't know what it wants to be and ends too fast out of nowhere. I think as far as trying to make more plot-driven Ninjago web shorts go, the Virtues of Spinjitzu is pretty perfect for this. I definitely have my issues with this series of shorts, don't get me wrong here, but I think it's an enjoyable, self-contained, small-scale Ninjago storyline. Catching these every week in January of 2022 was a pretty fun experience, and made the incredibly boring drought between Seabound and Crystallized a bit more enjoyable. As for these shorts, LEGO just farted out all 3 onto their YouTube channel within 2 weeks, but this isn't a rant about the release schedule. So if LEGO is trying to go for a more serialized angle on these Ninjago web shorts, I definitely think LEGO should look to take some notes from Virtues of Spinjitzu, because I find that series executed these ideas way better than the Elemental Mechs did. The feeling of disorganization isn't helped by the fact that the naming convention for these shorts is just dropped in one of them. The first episode is titled What the Mech, which is a wordplay on the phrase what the heck. The third episode is called Pain in the Mech, which is a wordplay on pain in the neck. And then the second episode just doesn't have a mech pun. Sure, the word mech is in the title of the episode is the Mech Master, which is named after the race the Crossroad holds. But just naming the race isn't a mech pun in the same way that pain in the mech is. 0 out of 10 to the Shadow Realm with you. Now, despite the fact that I just spent the past 5 minutes complaining and borderline nitpicking about stuff in these shorts that I didn't like, I still did enjoy these shorts quite a bit. Something I really loved about the first season of Dragons Rising is how fun the chill moments between the ninja were. You know, those moments where they're just trying to kill time whilst they're flying somewhere on the bounty, or relaxing at the monastery in between a few hard fights. I think Dragons Rising does a really good job at making those kind of small slice of life moments between the characters. And this short series is basically 3 shorts constituting mostly of scenes like that, and I love it. Just little scenes of stuff like Kai, Arin, and Sora messing around at the monastery and building slides while Lloyd's away. Or scenes of the ninja taking a trip down to the crossroads and trying new foods and talking about their favorites. It's not super mind-blowing, intense, exhilarating content or anything, but it's nice character building. Seeing these characters in their downtime just enjoying each other's company makes the characters a lot more believable in my eyes. And it helps that I just like spending time with these characters. I'm a huge fan of all the slice of life stuff they got into this short series. Also, I'm very happy so much of this series takes place in the Crossroads because I absolutely love this location. It's such a charming location Dragons Rising introduced, and it has such a great feeling of being lived in by the characters. It's also visually stunning. As always for Ninjago, and especially Dragons Rising, the animation and visuals in this short series are really good looking. I don't think these shorts look as good as Season 1 of Dragons Rising, but it's kind of hard to expect it to. That's a TV show, these are web shorts. The web shorts are probably being made on a lower budget, but even then, these still look really good in my eyes. Sora is really cool in this series of shorts.
Don't touch that. It's Chrono Steel.
I was hoping you'd say that.
I feel like she is a bit comically overpowered at times in these shorts, but that problem is pretty negated for me by the fact that I just really like this character. I especially like how jovial and cheery she is in these shorts. Ever since Sora moved on from her parents and overcame her pessimism in the first season, she seems to be a lot more cheery, and I think it's a really fun change to the character. And a very natural evolution of what we saw in Season 1. She rediscovered her optimism and found her place in the world. Of course she's going to be more cheerful now. I thought she was great in Season 1, and I thought she was great in these shorts as well. I really like this character. This miniseries sets up a really interesting dynamic between Sora and the Mechanic. I never really thought about it until now, but Sora and the Mechanic, in terms of rivalries, are like the perfect matchup. Sora's an elemental master of technology, whereas the Mechanic is just a master of technology. They're a great pairing for a fight scene, and I think they bounce off each other really well. Also, the Mechanic's characterization here is great. I have issues of how he was written at the end of Crystallized, but like with basically everything from Dragons Rising that touches on stuff Crystallized messed up, the Dragons Rising short fixed my problems with him. I was a big fan of how the Mechanic was written in that second short. I hope this lack of facial details doesn't become a reoccurring animation error though. I remember it happened with Wu and Nia in the flashback scene in Season 1, and I really hope it doesn't continue after this series of shorts, because it makes the character designs look so ugly. I have a lot of issues with this short series, and I think LEGO could definitely learn some lessons from it in the future, but I really did enjoy my time with these shorts. I like how the characters interact, I like being in the world of the Merged Realms and the Crossroads, and I thought there were some really cool action scenes. These shorts definitely aren't the best piece of Ninjago content we've ever gotten, not by a mile, not even when you compare them to other Ninjago shorts. But I don't think they're completely awful. They can be a lot of fun. And that's my take on the new Ninjago Dragons Rising Elemental Mech shorts. Comment question for today is, what did you think of this short series? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or do your opinions lie somewhere more in the middle? Be sure to let me know your thoughts on this series below. As always, a huge thank you to the channel members for supporting the channel, and a huge thank you to everyone for watching this video all the way through. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.